Hey, what's up? And welcome into Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Look for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on everything we do here with all our videos. I got a chance to talk to Tyler Aki from our station at ESPN 1000 about the great college basketball weekend and the week ahead in college basketball. If you know the college football fan, make sure that they see that interview that was posted earlier today for what happened this past weekend with Illinois and Nebraska and what we can expect this week. Check it out, Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. We're presented by the fine folks over at Marriott Bonvoy. Yes, Marriott Bonvoy. There's a link that is in the bio of our podcast, whether it's on YouTube or via the audio. Make sure you hit that link, Marriott Bonvoy. I am a Marriott Bonvoy customer. So is my wife. So is people in my family. Click that link for savings, Marriott Bonvoy. It's something that you can use for yourself or share with others. Marriott Bonvoy. So glad they're part of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood and supporting what we do. We have a number of things to talk about here on this Monday. Make sure that you leave your comments in. We have super chats as well as you watch this podcast. If you'd like to add a super chat, we'll definitely put your conversation right at the top of the list, of course. And so we turn to my crazy cousin Wiley. He says things that I can't say because I've got a career. And if I fall off, that'll be all for the Hood family. And he joins us now here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Cousin Wiley, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well. How you feeling, Cousin?
Feeling good. Feeling good. It's Super Bowl week. I mean, Bears are not involved in it, but still, it's always a big week. A lot of money-making opportunities and an opportunity to enjoy Seattle, New England in the Super Bowl on Sunday.
It is. I mean, this is the outside of football. This is the most watched event in television. So really looking forward to it. It should be a great game. Hoping for a great game.
Did you say football? Were you talking? Was there a soccer mention right there? Is that what you said there?
I mean, yeah, but those people. They just say things a little differently because it's just how they are. But yeah, those soccer guys.
You're talking about soccer zealots, those people, correct?
Yes.
I see. How's Maria doing? How's Maria? Is she upstairs or where is she in the Cousin Wiley flat tonight?
She's doing well. She's doing well.
Oh, she's bringing you drinks, I see. Okay, well, it's good for her to be there. So it's funny that you just mentioned football out of nowhere. Clearly, she's had an influence over the weekend. You can tell me about that later. Let's talk a little. It was Sox Fest. I was out of town over the weekend. Out of town, meaning Milwaukee. Shout out to Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Really nice, Cuzzo. Really nice hotel. Really nice casino as well. I hadn't been there before, but I was at Potawatomi Casino. We were there for our Royal Rumble watch party for Good Karma Wrestling. We never had one before, and we was able to have an agreement with Potawatomi to be able to have a watch party. Royal Rumble taking place in Saudi Arabia, and so because we did not have tickets and airfare for Saudi Arabia, we decided to do it in Milwaukee. So that's where that's where it took place. And so Kevin Nash, WWE Hall of Famer, was there as well. And a couple of the mayor of Milwaukee was there the entire time to watch the Royal Rumble. So thanks to Potawatomi for having us to broadcast live from that place. I don't know if you've been, but it's a really nice casino hotel.
I haven't. Shout out to the natives for making great use of the land they were, giving back. So shout out to them.
No, I think the owner's name's Joe.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Joe or Mark, actually. So, good.
Okay.
Either way, thank you so much, Potawatomi, for having it. I'm not going to let you get into my money. I'm not going to let you do it tonight. But nonetheless, I earned that. Yeah, we had a fun time. The reason why I talk about this, I didn't get a chance to go to Sox Fest this weekend in Bridgeport to find out what Sox fans are thinking about the White Sox. But it's interesting. All the signs were, because everything was positive with, at Sox Fest. Sox fans are realists. They understand that this is going to be a losing season, but it should be better than last year. So that means that the arrow's pointing up for the team. It's getting better. So that's one thing. We can go to the ballpark knowing that we're going to watch the kids, and maybe they win, maybe they lose, but it'd probably be a better ball club this year than the last couple.
You know what's tough about this current rebuild, Cuzzo? Like I was fine with the initially like the Rick Hahn build before it imploded because it was fresh, it was new, it was coming off of Kenny trying to patch together another World Series team, the way he would do by shopping in bargain bins or whatever else. So when Hahn took over and decided to try to build it up from the studs, I was kind of excited. It was something that was refreshing for the Sox organization. But once it imploded, and you went from having guys who you thought were going to be mainstays, and then Robert's the last one to get traded away for some gently used socks a few weeks ago. Yep. There's like nothing that's really left. So you're like, I'm sort of somewhat apathetic about this current rebuild. You're still always hopeful because that's all you have, but it's like we just did this, so is a Kansas City guy going to help us get back to being a competitive team? And we saw progress last year, and obviously you want to continue to see it. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about this current iteration of the White Sox.
You haven't been to enough games. Cousin Maceo's been to enough games with us. Maybe you should come by and come to some Sox games to see what's going on. The businessman or businesswoman special is always available to you if you'd like to go. I know you like to sneak off sometimes and just kind of go to a game, but you're not going to the right games. Go to the games where the Sox can be competitive, you see. Every time you go, they lose. I need you to come with us when they win. Businessman special. Maceo's there. I sit there with Cousin Maceo when we go to the games. He goes, who the fuck is that? so it's a lot of that. I have to explain to him who it is. Like, well, that's Chase Mydroff, cousin Maceo. I don't know that MFer, that kind of thing. So I try to explain to him. Then he tells me about Harold Baines, and then the whole day just goes to hell. But Cousin Maceo, he enjoys a good Sox game. You should stop by. Your brother enjoys a good game.
I will. Hopefully, we'll continue to build on the improvements from last year.
He enjoys it. He just doesn't know who these players are. He likes a good ball game, getting out of the office because he's a bigwig. He can just leave the office at any time.
Right.
So
and there's beer involved too, so that helps. That always helps.
Cousin Maceo just knows how to just leave the office and just is like, I'm going to the game. Like I can't do that, but he can because he's an executive. Won't tell you. I ain't gonna mess up his money, but he's a big deal. Your brother is a big deal. So on February 1st, 2026, 9:11 a.m., we have a post from the Chicago White Sox. Again, positivity coming out of Sox Fest. All good. We know what it is. And so this is kind of Chris Getz going to the Aldi, going to the bottom shelf to try to piecemeal a team together because that's all they can do. You got to put some starters on the field and like a lineup card. So you do what you can, right? But this post came out in celebration of Black History Month. We reflect upon momentous first for the Chicago White Sox organization. Again, Cuzzo, it's monumentous firsts for the Chicago White Sox organization. So if you go to X on Twitter and see what was put out there, there was a number of firsts, like Old Comiskey Park plays host to the first ever East-West Negro League game, All-Star game in 1933. Al Smith, the first Black All-Star in White Sox history. It goes on to talk about Harold Baines in 1977, first African-American player, number 1 overall pick. And it goes on to talk about Minnie Minoso and Carlos May. And 1972, the year I was born, Dick Allen becomes the first Black player in White Sox history to win American League MVP honors. Frank Thomas joined Allen as MVP in 93-94. Larry Doby, a lot of Kenny Williams on here, a lot of Jerry Manuel. Here's one that tripped me out about as far as Black history. August 1st, 2000, Cuzzo. Did you see this? August 1st, 2000, White Sox manager Jerry Manuel, pitcher James Baldwin, and catcher Charles Johnson are part of the first all-black mound meeting in Major League Baseball history. I'm like, wait a minute, that can't be right. But then you think about it, very few black players play catcher, or as we say
Yeah.
in our neighborhood, backstop. Think about that. And I was trying to think of a second, right? Bo Naylor is a black catcher, but there's so few and far between. Like there's hardly any. And I had to think about that. It's like it took to 2000 for Jerry Manuel to get the ball from James Baldwin and for Charles Johnson to be out there as a catcher. I'm like, that is White Sox history. There's no question about that.
And that's something that I think as a fan of the game, especially if you're not black, you may take it for granted. Like just something as simple as like, oh, there's a skipper, a white skipper, white catcher, white pitcher. We've seen this since the beginning of time, and then you
Sure.
wait to over 100 years, since the game has been played, and you finally get that combination in the major league. So, it's something I think people take for granted, but for the White Sox to be first, that says a lot about the progressiveness of the organization. It also says about, the how behind the major leagues were just in general when it came to, minorities, players, and minorities being in position of power. So I think the Sox have done a really good job with that.
So after going through all of this, I saw that they showed the history, and Frank Thomas was not happy that his face was not out there. Frank Thomas on Twitter said, "I guess the black player who made you rich over there and holds all your records is forgettable. Don't worry, I'm taking receipts." This is an hour after the Sox posted all of these great accomplishments for African Americans. Now, here's the thing. Let's start from the beginning. I read for you what the post said, and that is, in celebration of Black History Month, we reflect upon the momentous first for the White Sox organization. Some of those are not firsts, Cuzzo.
No.
They're not firsts. When you take a look at it, like they're accomplishments, but they're not firsts. Kenny Williams became just the second African-American general manager to win a World Series, joining Bob Watson in 1996. Venable now is the manager of the White Sox, third African-American manager in White Sox history. There's a number of like second or third, like Larry Doby, second African-American manager in Major League Baseball, going back to 1978. So it's not all firsts. So when you take a look at Frank Thomas and his career, there was some firsts, or there's some accomplishments that should have been added on this timeline. Like Frank Thomas is the guy that has the most home runs in White Sox history. He's also the first and only first ballot Hall of Famer in White Sox history. Those are facts. So there's a number of there's the only player in White Sox history that's black that had the Silver Slugger Award from two different positions, DH and first base. So what I'm saying is that from the White Sox standpoint, not blaming the front office, what I'm blaming is whoever this 21-year-old that put this together through ChatGPT, they forgot to be able to talk about Frank Thomas's first two. You understand that he was the face of this organization for quite some time. And I don't think he should have been just shoehorned in there with Dick Allen unless it was something personal from the White Sox standpoint. So all good as far as what the White Sox have done, in past, present, and future. But Frank has a beef when he looks up there and says, there's a lot of things I've done that I could deserve, a claim for on this post.
So while I acknowledge that, because Frank was the first African American to win back-to-back MVPs, right? I think that's true. So if that should have had, should have been a bullet for that somewhere on one of the graphics, and it wasn't there. But for Frank to be big hurt about being excluded, I just think he's been a little sensitive. I don't think the Sox organization intentionally tried to slight him. And I think he went looking for, or maybe not even looked at, he just heard about it and found a reason to be offended by something that I don't think was meant to be offensive to him and his status as the greatest White Sox of all time. And I know the way things ended, probably left a bitter taste in his mouth, and probably rightfully so. But I think he's holding on to the past and finding ways to be offended in the present based on those things. He's kind of a footnote in the Dick Allen bullet that's there in 1972. But again, I don't think it was personal. If you want to say maybe instead of using the image of Bo Jackson when they're talking about like the change in the uniforms and all those things, you could have put Frank there. Yeah, that's probably true. You could have put him there because Bo, while we love him, he's part of the Sox family. He was just there for a brief period of time. And Frank is obviously arguably the greatest Sox of all time. But again, I don't think it was personal. I don't think it was personal. And I was seeing the tweets and some of the comments, and it was like Jerry Reinsdorf personally, filled this out, and it was a directive from him to slight Frank, and I just don't believe that was true.
Well, I don't think at this age that Jerry's looking to slight anyone on social media. I don't even know if Jerry Reinsdorf is on social media. I have no idea. There was a problem between Kenny Williams and Frank Thomas, though. That was real. That was a problem. There was an opportunity for Frank to sue the organization because of how he felt that the Sox training staff mishandled his foot injury, and so that was settled out of court. So that was an issue. When Frank went to the A's, I'll never forget when he went to the A's because he had 2 home runs on a May day. I was there. It was cold as hell. It was May, and he hit 2 home runs against the White Sox. I cheered him for the first one. The second one, I gave him a standing boo. Was tired of seeing it after a while because Frank did that. He wanted to stick it up the White Sox ass that day as an Oakland A because he felt like he should have finished his time with the Sox in the organization, and he did not. And he hit those 2 home runs to be against Kenny Williams. Kenny said something along the lines of, and I can find the quote if you want, something along the lines of like, Frank is an A now, let's see if he can stay healthy for 3 days in a row. And so that was kind of solid. It's who Kenny is, though. But to your point, Frank Thomas is sensitive. I've known that covering him. He does have rabbit ears. He has been sensitive for a long time. But I think that he does have a point that for someone who was the face of the organization, he should be able to have something that of his own on these graphics. Because he's accomplished a lot of stuff on his own. I mean, we can go deeper with this because we talk about Tommy Agee being the first Black Sox player to win Rookie of the Year. He could have been on there. We could have went with Chet Lemon, who set a Major League Baseball record for putouts in 1977. I mean, that's all Black history with the White Sox. I mean, they could have done that. Maybe you don't have room for all of it, but you do have room for Frank, though, to stand alone. That is for sure, if you wanted to.
No, I agree. Like, you could have found a spot for him, but I don't think, like I said, they should have found a spot and could have found a spot, but I don't think it was something that was done maliciously because they wanted to slight Frank Thomas in any way. And if I'm being honest, I don't think he saw it. I think someone probably called him and told him, hey, the Sox put out this Black History Month thing and you're not on it. He is on it. He's kind of a footnote, but it's like, you're not on it. And he heard that and took it as, took it personal. It felt like the organization and Jerry or whoever else was slighting him. And I personally don't believe that was the case. But to your point, you're absolutely right. When you have a player of Frank's stature, you find a spot for him. You find a spot for him where it's his picture and he's not a footnote.
Because Kenny's all over the video on this thing, He's on here like 3 times. He's Diddy. He's all over the place.
You took the words from my mouth. He's Diddy.
Look at this thing. And rightfully so for a person that's becomes the first African American general manager in Chicago sports history. Okay.
Yeah.
So that, and then the third in Major League Baseball history at the time. I mean, there were some barriers that broken, and if you know the Reinsdorf, say what you want about them, they have done a lot to be able to break down barriers and try to be the first. George McCaskey the same way, by the way, on the Bears side. But for Jerry Reinsdorf, you can never knock him for the hires of managers and front office people of color to be able to give an opportunity. For those watching, you're thinking, well, shouldn't that be the best qualified? There's no question about that. But I think that there's a lot of times where Jerry Reinsdorf looked at someone young, like a Kenny Williams at the time, who was part of the organization, or Daryl Boston, or guys like that, and just say, you know what, you did right by the organization. You should be working for the White Sox. And so I can never knock him for that. And I don't blame him for this. Jerry doesn't know what the hell's going on. I mean,
No.
he's in his 90s. It's not like he looked at the graphic and said, keep Frank off. Now, here's the question I would ask though. Because Frank does not work for CHSN, he's not an analyst anymore with Ozzy. I don't know if there was cutbacks or just a choice. I have no idea what happened there. I just know I keep seeing like the rotating cast of like Ozzy or Scott Pasednik, who I never asked his opinion on anything, or Gordon Beckham, right? I keep seeing that come through come and sit on the couch with Chuck Garfien. But he's not doing Fox anymore because Poppy took that spot on Fox. So he's not doing national. Why isn't he more part of the organization? Why isn't he around as like an ambassador? What's the problem there?
It's a great question. I mean, at this point, when you got a guy of his stature, he should be at least an ambassador for the organization. You give him a role like you gave Scottie Pippen at one point. Well, you pay him just to show up and kiss babies and all the other stuff because, we still remember what he meant to us and what he meant to the organization. And while he wasn't a prominent player when they won it all due to the injury, he was still a very important part of Sox history. And he was, one of the greatest hitters of all time at one point in his career. So yeah, he should be coming around, shaking hands and kissing babies. I used to see him at his old restaurant, and even as a kid, walking up to him and seeing him and like, this is the largest human being I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, he should be around more. He should be around more, and they should celebrate him and what he meant to the organization more. I'm not sure if he's ready for it because it takes both parties. But I imagine, like Scotty, if you give him a check, he'll show up.
I think that should be proper. Here's what's funny about this, though, as we talk about something else in a second. What's funny is like the Sox have not taken this down. You would think they were just like, all right, let me just take it down for a second, then put Frank back up there. Like Sox haven't done that, and I have not heard anything from the White Sox today about this. So, like I said, this is not one of those things where I feel like that's ownership. I just think that that's an omission for a Sox organization that's always pissed at ESPN for not mentioning the White Sox 05 championship. I don't know if you noticed that, because sometimes they go through the litany of champions. They forget about the Sox 05 as if that didn't happen.
Like it wasn't the greatest playoff run in MLB history. Yeah, it's like, right. Let's ignore this.
I just hope that the Sox and Frank Thomas can be able to come together and figure something out, because right now Frank is pissed. He's seething. I kind of know Frank that way, covering him as a player. And when he's got something set in his mind, he gets frustrated with it. Also, Frank, how about your years with the White Sox? You're the best, probably right-handed hitter that I could remember over a 6-7 year stretch, something like that. Probably should hit cleanup.
Yeah.
The best third place hitter I've ever seen, too. That guy would just look in at that pitch for ball 4 and be like, "Oh, Maglio, you do it."
Yeah.
Like, you think someone that size would have been like the greatest cleanup hitter? Is just like, he hit third a lot for the White Sox. I just remember that. I just always thought that was funny. Like, he would not necessarily hit all the home runs. He'd get a walk, and then like, Maglio, you clean up the bases. Like, okay. So, Maglio, better White Sox or better Tiger? That's another question.
Tiger, unfortunately.
I don't need you to say that out loud. You could have kept that quiet. You didn't have to say it out loud. We need another statue out there in the outfield, Maglio. Don't you say that about Maglio, don't you?
Well, he should. I mean, but he went and got didn't he go like to Turkey or Germany or something, get the that special surgery that helps your leg not fall off or something like that?
I think LeBron had that surgery too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went to Germany, got the blood flowing again in that leg, and was able to play another, I think, 7-8 years.
Right.
And like great years with the Tigers.
Yeah. Pissed me off.
He was our guy until he wasn't, you see. Cuzzo, we're getting ready for Sunday. Oh, not just a Sunday. It's Super Bowl licks. LIX. Licks. Yeah, it's taking place in Santa Clara. There we go, man. Super Bowl. For me, it's not anything that's so deep for me about this game. Seattle against New England. Sam Darnold. I don't mind being wrong about Sam Darnold. I think a lot of people are wrong about Sam Darnold. People are so wrong about Sam Darnold that the Vikings GM got fired yesterday. Adolfo Mensa getting fired because the Vikings brass was like, so the guy that was here for a year that had a good year, we couldn't use, but yet we're not in the playoffs this year. All right, brother, you're fired. So they fired this guy. And so Sam Darnold has turned heads and has a great year. He's got a great defense. And so New England, good, very good football team. But I don't think there's any doubt for me that Seattle's going to win this game. By how much, I don't know, but I just have a good feeling that Seattle wins. What do you think?
So just touching on Darnold for 1 second. Sam Darnold wet the bed in a really bad way to end the season last year against the Lions, and then the first game in the playoffs, I believe it was against the Rams, where he wet the bed. So it wasn't a case of Sam Darnold finished strong and now you're going to sit the rookie quarterback that you spent, multiple first-round picks to acquire. It was like, hey, this guy was here for a cup of coffee. He, played well until he did. And when he didn't play well, it was in our most important games, he struggled. So we're going to give the rookie a try. I don't think most organizations keep Sam Darnold under the same circumstances. So there's a little revisionist history about what the Vikings should have or should not have done when it came to keeping Sam Darnold. But to the Super Bowl, I'm with you overall, Cuzzo, but here's the thing. I keep looking at the line. I've looked at the line since the game ended last Sunday. Looking at the line, it's like, okay, it started out like a 3.5 really quick, and then it went to 4. It's been between 4 and 4.5 since then. So the news out of New England and just anybody just analyzing this game on paper, you would think that the Seahawks would be bigger favorites than they are right now. So I look at that and it's like, okay, is someone telling me to spend money on the Seahawks team is probably they may lose? Am I missing something? Because everything I look at, it says Seahawks should win by at least 10 in my mind. But the line
it opened at 3.5, and the Seahawks now are a 4.5 point favorite as we talk about this live. 4.5 point favorite against the Patriots. Money line minus 238. The total is 45.5.
Yeah, something's off about it to me. But okay, so to the game, you have a Patriots team that defensively has when it comes to stats, they've been the best in the playoffs. They're giving up 209 yards per game, less than 9 points a game. But that's misleading because they played against King Bedwetter, Justin Herbert in the first game. They played against Stroud, who, if he should have been investigated for cheating because he was trying to give that game away. What was it? 5-6 turnovers in one game all by him. And then they played against some kid named Jarrett Stidham. Who the hell is Jarrett Stidham? I'm not even sure his parents know who Jarrett Stidham is, but he played in a critical playoff game. So they were very fortunate by their opponents in the playoffs. And they won, but they had an offense because they scored 18 points a game.
Yeah.
You're not going to win many games scoring 18 points a game. So if they don't play against those opponents, we're probably talking about a different team coming out of the AFC. But again, I think Seattle's defense has been great all year. Their offense is humming now, 36 points a game in the playoff. I just can't see them not winning by more than 10. But I'm looking at a line that's at 4.5, and that scares the hell out of me.
I just think straight up Seattle wins the game. And we'll talk further about this on Under the Hood and on Cap and J Hood this week, is that, to me, I just think that the defense of Seattle will out physical the Patriots. It will limit their opportunities. Drake May, I want like right now, questionable. He'll play in the game. He won't be 100%, but who's 100% at this time? Drake May had some tremendous numbers. Tremendous numbers. If we're going to compare him to Caleb Williams, for instance, I'll just pull a name out of my hat. Let me just pull a name out of the hat. How about Caleb Williams? Drake May had more rushing yards and more passing yards than Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb ran his ass off for the Bears, right? But I want to just point out that Drake May had some athleticism that he showcased for the Patriots. He would run out of trouble, and he's still not the finished product yet because he's still a young quarterback. But he can run out of the pocket, run for a first down, has a big arm, was able to connect to Stephon Diggs, running the football with Henderson. So they've got weapons, and it's a good offense. But people are talking about the competition, as you just talked about with the Patriots faced. I mean, you got to win those games to be able to get to this mountaintop. I just think that Seattle is really, really more polished and more physical. Like if the Bears went into Seattle, brother, let me just say something right now. Like all the magic the Bears had, that would have been a tough ask to go into the belly of the beast with the 12th man and take on that team. Bears would have lost that game, Cuzzo. I'm here to tell you. They would have lost the game just because – and I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is just great. What I'm saying is that, as far as a running game with Smith and Jigba, be careful when you say that, with Walker running the football, you've got a number of weapons there that probably would have hurt the Bears defensively. On the road, that would have been tough. That would have been a tough spot there for the Bears. But that's why I think Seattle's just a touch better than the Patriots.
Yeah, I think when you have the offense they have with Darnold and JSN, and right, careful. And that defense is just elite. I think it's going to be hard for a quarterback with a Drake May's experience to be able to put up points. Here's the only caveat, because Sam Darnold hasn't faced any pressure in the playoffs. So I don't know if Sam Darnold faces pressure where maybe the Patriots are winning by a touchdown or a few points. He morphs back into the Sam Darnold we knew of the past, where he wets the bed and he gives you 3+ turnovers. Because if I'm looking at his turning point in the season, Cuzzo, it was that Rams game where the fortunate touchdown turned things around, and he's been playing well since then. So prior to that lucky bounce, that lucky call, he was sticking the game up, and then from that point on, he just found his rhythm, and he's been arguably the best quarterback in the NFL since that game. So I don't know if he turns back into that pumpkin that he's been in big games, but if that happens, then the Patriots have a chance. Outside of him wetting the bed, I just can't see the Patriots competing against this team.
You're very, very down on wet bettors, and I don't know. I know you don't know the analytics of this podcast, but the wet bettors are up on this podcast, so please don't chase them away. Okay, I mean, just ease up.
I love the super soakers. I love the.
Okay. Again, your love life aside, please stop talking about the wet bettors. Please. You got some people here that enjoy that need that don't have the pens, that don't have the money to be able to get that done. So please, just stop talking about people wetting the bed. Just stop it. The analytics says that people that wet the bed listen to this show. So don't chase them off. By the way, for a Super Bowl, you got something to drink? I got a suggestion for you. Yes. Alexander James Whiskey, the official whiskey of Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. If you're looking for some spirits, something a little different on your bar or at your Super Bowl party, consider Alexander James Whiskey. Just happen to have a bottle right here. This is special. This one, I got the other ones at the bar downstairs here that are opened and almost done. But this one here is a special one because it's barrel proof, you see. It's a straight bourbon whiskey from Alexander James Whiskey. Go to alexanderjameswhiskey.com. Jesse Stewart is waiting for you to go to the store and buy this for Super Bowl Sunday. I recommend it. Cousin Wiley recommends it. As a matter of fact, Cousin, we're overdue for a get-together. a family get together. I think we should have this with a little family get together, get to that bar. What's that place over there in the south suburbs? What's that? The
I know what
exclusive
you're talking
four?
about. Yeah. Yep.
Exclusive four. Yeah. So you bring your own food, apparently. I don't know if they have I don't know if they got a cook in the back, but I think we could just bring our own J&J fish and just sit it right there at the table and then just be able to buy Alexander James whiskey, you see.
No, and it's especially this
Cool.
time of year, you're looking for something that's going to, you know, make you warmer in those cold nights, and that's what you want to grab you a little bit of Alexander James whiskey, couple shots, makes everything, that you get the juices flowing, and helps you
Yeah.
enjoy your evening. Yeah,
Yes.
can't beat that.
So check it out. Go to the website, find out which store it is nearest you. 49 different states, 49 different states where you can find Alexander James whiskey, except for one. And you know what that one is?
Probably Indiana.
No, it's not Indiana.
I know. I'm joking.
It's not Indiana. Stop giving Indiana love. The Bears are gonna be there soon. To give Indiana
Right.
love now.
Yeah,
No,
I love the Gary Bears.
It's Utah.
Yeah.
Yes, Salt Lake City. It's Utah. So we're working on that. So they give it. It's in Alaska and Hawaii, but it's not in Utah yet. So Jesse Stewart's still working on that.
You have to wrap the bottle in some magic underwear, and that will do the trick. I love the Mormons, but they have their their magic underwear in those things. You just wrap the bottle in there, they'll get it done for you. Or you shake the bed, just put a little bit in and shake the bed.
What? Wait a minute.
I can't completely explain the references because this is a family show, but yeah, anyone out there that may understand how they operate and get around abstinence, like that's one of those techniques. You just sit it there as long as you're not the one that's moving it. If someone is shaking the bed while it's there, that's not on you because you didn't do it. And your God is perfectly fine with that. I like that. I like exceptions to the rules. I like that. So all you young kids out there,
Oh, you got a Steve Stone thought for sex? All you young kids out there, what do you have? You got something? You have a tip for everybody? Those young kids out there is trying to have sex? Is that what you just said?
Have someone around to shake the bed for you.
Okay. I understand that you're a well-traveled man, so I hope that Sally enjoyed the experience with you. I'm sure with the light of the lantern, I'm sure that you were able to see your way around the barn. Very good. Very good. I know you do a lot of traveling. I just didn't know you were in Lancaster, Pennsylvania to be part of that, but apparently you were. Good. Please put in the chat whether or not you've been with a Mormon. Please put your super chat in. Have you had sex with a Mormon? Because apparently Cousin Wiley knows how to be able to get around some of the bylaws. I don't know how they let you in there, by the way.
Oh, they letting the blacks in now into Utah.
Or the Amish. Or the Amish. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I don't know how they let you in there. I guess they thought with the beard that you could qualify, but no. So if you've had sex with a Mormon, please put your chat in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. And lastly, before we get kicked off of YouTube, let's go to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, Giannis. Let's talk about him. As we are having a conversation about Mormonism or having sex with the Amish, I don't know what you're doing there. There is news about Giannis. Sources, it says here. Sources. Bucks countering trade offers for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Jamal Collier, based in Chicago, wrote a story that there's teams that are suitors for Giannis. It is the Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, and New York Knicks. As a matter of fact, CJ Taylor
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
How's that?
Great. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
It will not be the Chicago Bulls. You could have kept going, by the way. Thank you for filling in while my mic was off. It's always good there. You stared at like a deer in headlights right there, folks. Cousin Wiley could have just filled time, but he just can't hear you, Cousin. Don't know what we're gonna do. So let me go back.
I did start to, but I didn't know if you could hear me. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm off.
Everybody can hear you, sir. Everybody can hear you. Minnesota, Miami, Golden State, Knicks are suitors for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bulls will not be one of those, sir. That's not going to be the case. I don't know why we keep hearing this over the last 72 hours, Cuzzo, but just imagine Giannis coming to Chicago. Okay, so who would he play with? You have to trade a haul to get Giannis. So he could be draft picks or current players on the Bulls roster. It makes no sense for Giannis and the Giannettes because he's dealing with that in Milwaukee. So as much as it'd be cool for him to be a Chicago Bull, there's no one for him to play with. So that's why, to me, these are just rumors and innuendos. Knicks seem likely, Warriors seem likely, Timberwolves, maybe the Heat for Giannis.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I saw what the betting market is saying, and they have the Bulls listed as a favorite. I just can't see the Milwaukee Bucks being able to trade Giannis in the same division, same conference, without a team in your division paying a premium to get that guy. And who are besides draft picks? What are the Bulls going to give up? Mattis, Giddey. I mean, you got to throw in pieces to make the contract work. But like, you're gutting your team just for Giannis to arrive, and you're probably going to have to trade away Kobe White, Mattis, maybe Giddey, to get him. So what's left?
No, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's too bad the Bulls are not in this position because to get someone like that. But this is what happens when you don't have enough homegrown talent. This is not a shot at Buzelis or some of the other young players on this roster, but the Bulls are what they are. They're stuck in the middle. I wish they were in the middle. Actually, below the middle, which is even worse. You're not smart enough to tank. You're not good enough to be one of the top 5 teams. So you're just stuck in the play-in game with the Heat. And that's enough of Bulls Heat, by the way. I've seen too much of that already. We already got a preview of the play-in game. We know what that looks like with the Bulls and Heat. We've seen them play 3 times, seemingly in like 5 or 6 days. Enough of the Bulls and Heat. But Giannis isn't coming here. Even though we discovered last week on Under the Hood a couple of stories out there about Giannis, him and his brothers and his family buying property in Chicago and in Brooklyn and in Shorewood, Wisconsin. So they're making sure that, hey, they got the basketball money, but also they're parlaying that money into real estate. And so people thought, oh, so he's coming to the Bulls because he's buying stuff on the north side. Like that's not happening. I don't believe there's no reason for him to come here.
He's just saying the rent's due, motherfucker. That's all he's saying. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yes, that the rent's due. So Giannis will come there and be looking for the rent underneath the mat at some of these places, and the check's there, and then he'll be able to pick it up. That's it. It's 100%.
Here's the thing too, cuz he's 31 years old. So if you're telling me like 5 years ago, if this was a possibility, then yeah, you give him everything to get this guy because he was worth it. But his style of play isn't the style that's going to age gracefully. So I'm not sure what he'll be in 7 years. Maybe he has a good 3 or 4 years left in him that at a high level, but where's he going to be 5, 6, 7 years? And then you're going to have to extend him and give him probably an additional $300 million at the very least. And he's already making $50+ million a year right now. And you're paying for past performance because if you look at his style of play, you look at his age, you're probably going to have some bad money on those years at the end, on that deal at the end. So I just think you stand pat, you trade your expiring contracts and try to get some some future assets for them. Kobe White should be able to get you something, of need for the future, and then you do like it's a rebuild, but it's not like a hard rebuild because you still have a couple pieces in Madison Giddey that you can use to build within the future. They're going to be at worst solid players, and you got one who has the potential to be a star if he can figure some things out. So,
Lily Umper wants you to know he's got only 2 years left after this one.
Yeah,
and
you're gonna have to extend that. Yeah, you're gonna have to add to that.
So it's just not happening. I was talking about this earlier today with Jesse Rogers. I told Jesse, I said, if you and I were having this conversation 15 years ago, we would say, man, he got to come to Chicago because Milwaukee's a smaller market. And so you go to so you can go to Chicago so you can get your money, from a standpoint of commercials and advertising and everything else, that you come to Chicago and, man, you can just own the city. George's not here anymore. This could be yours. And no one's ever want to take that mantle. Like Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, we didn't want to do that. Some of these other cats that have come through here never really want to take the mantle of saying, hey, I'm a Chicago Bull, and say, this is my city. Come to my city. Even D Rose, is like, I'm not going to recruit. Like, I'm here. It's the Shy. Come play with me. And if not, I'm not going to come find you. You know where I am. Pretty much he was telling Carmelo Anthony that. If you want to come play with me, I'm here. So 15 years ago, we could have that conversation, Cuzzo, get out of that small market, get to New York, get to LA, get to Los Angeles, get to Dallas, Houston, go to bigger markets. That doesn't matter anymore. You can make your money as a Pelican. You can, or Orlando Magic. I mean, you can still have major advertising dollars with a shoe company or whatever product, no matter where you play in this league. And so for Giannis, I just feel like he could be a Spur. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a Spur or a Rocket. And again, it's not about market. It's about opportunity to win another championship. I think that's what matters to him.
No, I agree. But here's the other thing, Cuzzo, about the markets. He's in a Milwaukee or media market where he's revered. They're not beating him up. There are no tough questions after a Doc Rivers led loss. In Chicago, it's going to be a little different. Guys are going to Chicago media is going to ask tough questions. New York media is going to ask tough questions. And if the fans booing you in Milwaukee can bring you to tears, you're going to hate Chicago, New York when the media is probing about God knows what, or questioning why your brothers are on the team and all the other things that you were able to just get away with while you were in a media market like Milwaukee. So he needs to, think long and hard about that change, because it won't be as smooth and seamless as he may believe it will be, because he had a lot of perks by being in a market like Milwaukee. And obviously he's a great player and they won a championship, so some of those were earned. But Chicago, New York doesn't care. Once you lose, what you did yesterday doesn't matter to the media. What you did yesterday doesn't matter to the fans. They will turn on you instantly, because it's all about what have you done for us lately.
So I kind of feel like another market. And by the way, from Milwaukee's standpoint, I was with some Bucks fans over the weekend. They understand. They got one championship, just like Jabbar brought to them. They knew if they can get one, that'd be awesome. They want two, obviously, or three, but things aren't working out well. And don't forget, Doc Rivers is the head coach, and Doc can wear on you after a while. That voice, Giannis, get your ass in the paint, baby. Enough, right? He's just like, all right, I don't want to hear anymore, and so I want to go someplace else. Giannis is being passive aggressive though. He's like, oh, I have nothing to do with it. It's my agent, bro. You want to leave, and it's okay. Everybody leaves. You want to go? Go ahead. Giannis still is a great guy. Even him leaving Milwaukee. And by the way, Milwaukee's the kind of market he can come in as a Rocket or a Spur or a Knick, and they'll give him a standing ovation. It's Milwaukee. They'd be like, thank you for a championship, because before that, they were the shits.
And he deserves it.
Sure. So, All I know is that he's not a bull, Cuzzo. And so deal with that mediocrity, deal with that extension for Billy Donovan, extension for Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley. Deal with it. You know what? Cry about it. Call your congressman, because they ain't going anywhere.
You said Mark who?
Eversley.
Who's that?
I know that brother, man.
like, does he work for the Bulls? I think I may have heard the name. It just, just don't know what he does. Did they call him like general manager or something like that?
He's like Ian Cunningham.
Right.
He's in the closet. That's where he is. That's where he is. He's in the R. Kelly closet someplace. They won't let him out.
Yeah. Trapped.
He's locked in there. Where's the mascot? Is he outside?
No, he is inside. He actually has a birthday tomorrow. So yeah. He turned 7. So he's managed to survive 7 years without us killing him. So that's a huge milestone.
Well, that's good, because you got food in the fridge, so you don't need to kill him. Right. So there's no need for that. Happy birthday, Rocky. Rocky the mascot. What do you give a 7-year-old dog?
Doggy treats. They they got like doggy biscuits and stuff like that. You just, toss it up in the air and then, he eats them. He doesn't care why. He just, give me the good stuff.
Yeah, here's the problem, man. Here's the problem. He always gets doggy treats. It's a dog. He doesn't realize that he needs something better from you. You just give him doggy treats. Okay, that's not right, man. You could do better. You could be better than that, He's listening. I hear him huffing there. He wants something more than just doggy treats.
You know what, Cuzzo? The life of a dog, of a modern dog, is really great. You get you get fed, you get your vaccinations, you get a warm shelter, and all you do is just be present. You don't earn a living. You don't do anything necessarily special. You're just a companion for a family who needs an extra companion, and that's it. It's a great gig if you can get it. Great gig.
You see, the Steely E says,
yes,
happy birthday, Rocky. You see that?
Yes.
And also a suggestion. A spoon of peanut butter.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have any of that in the house?
I do.
You don't. I could tell. You don't. My other cousins lives there too. You don't even have peanut butter for them. What is going on with you, man? Give them all healthy treats. Get everything you got everything from Soul Vegetarian for them. How about a little something for the effort? How about a little peanut butter for?
We need to keep his teeth in great shape, because the oral health is really good to extend their life, because labs usually get really big with joint issues, and then bad oral health can just end their life quickly. So we're looking to get 7 more years out of them instead of the 3 or 5 that's expected.
The Steely E says peanut butter.
Sugar-free.
Take care of it, man. Just go to Aldi and just knock it down. Just give him some Aldi. Give him some Aldi peanut butter. I know that's You won't go high end on the Skippy or the Jeff, but just you can give him some peanut butter. I think he'd like that. Just do that. Could you just do that for Rocky, please?
I got him.
Just send me the receipt. I know you're not going to do it. Just send me the receipt. I'll take care of it for you, okay? It says the Steely, as a matter of fact, he'll pay for it if you're not going to pay for it. It says a spoon of peanut butter. All right, Cuzzo, do you have a final score for the Super Bowl, or do you need time to ruminate?
So I do. I'm going to say Seahawks win 30-10, but I still, because my young Cousin Wiley actually picked the Patriots to win, and he had a score of 38-28. So he's looking at me right now. If I don't mention that, he's probably going to kill me. So I wanted to share that because he went against the grain and picked the Patriots to win.
So that's the final score, 30-10. Okay.
30-10.
All right. Well, Cuzzo, good to see you again. Let's talk after the Super Bowl because there's some things that we need to discuss about the Chicago Bears because we're not done. Season might be done for the Bears, but there's a lot of question marks about this Bears team. Like, what are they going to do about this list here of free agents?
Yeah.
What about that? Like, we got to discuss that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I know that you're a big Case Keenum fan, so I know you're concerned that Case Keenum's going to come back. So we'll discuss it. We thank you so much for checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, with Jay Hood and Cousin Wiley. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and comment to everything that we do here. Got a chance to talk about Giannis and the Bulls and talk about Frank Thomas and talk about the Super Bowl. We got a lot more. Just keep it locked. Please share this podcast. Make sure that others know that you're checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. And we should mention, Cuzzo, we should mention that we've got the merchandise, the Under the Hood merchandise. If you have not bought something, where you been, man? We have got mugs that's available for you right now. Jay Hood and Cousin Wiley mugs. There's Under the Hood show mugs. There's something for the ladies as well. A little something there with t-shirts and, of course, your hoodies. As cold as it has been in the Midwest, in the South, in the Northeast, let me tell you something. You need your hoodie right now. Get your hoodie at this point in time.
And as you can see, that's a very quality hoodie. That's one you can throw in the washer and it'll be fine. It's thick, nice and warm. No euphemisms. Yes. And there's something for the entire family. That's what's important right there. There's something in there for the entire family, from your wife, your side chick, the kids, you name it. There's something there. And with Valentine's Day coming around, that'll be a nice gift to give the sports and sports radio loving person in your life, or the podcast loving person in your life, some Under the Hood stuff. And just as a thank you to Cousin for the quality work he pumps out every day, whether on the radio or the podcast, so let's support the brand because, he's done a lot to entertain us and keep us informed over the past 30 years. So it's just a show of gratitude.
Thank you very much. And we're presented by... The keys are cold tonight. There you go. Marriott Bonvoy. Book with Marriott Bonvoy. The link is in the bio. Listen, this is something you can gift to someone or do what I do. Use it when I go on vacation. Marriott Bonvoy. It helps out. Let me just tell you. When we're on vacation this spring and also this summer and also this fall, I work with CAP, so I need 3 vacations. So I use Marriott Bonvoy. Book with Marriott Bonvoy today by using that link. Thanks so much for checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody, and happy birthday, Rocky. Happy birthday.